guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raig Shadow Legends. Today we're going to review Tainix Hateflower, who is actually going to be a daily login reward after 210 days of playing this game. So I imagine in about 8 days this video should, do a little bit better than it's probably going to do out the gate. So anyway, today we're going to review this champion. I maxed her out, tried her in a variety of places in the game. I'm going to share my feedback. There's really two ways you can build this champion, or you can try to kind of sneak it in the middle, but I really do think there's two ways, and I think it depends on your T6 mastery choice for Tainix Hateflower, providing you plan to farm her up in Miniature's Labyrinth or spend the 800 gems, you dirty gemmers out there like myself for this video, to go ahead and unlock all her scrolls. So we'll talk about that in just a moment here. By the way, hope you guys had a good weekend. I did, took my son out, went on a nice trail walk. Good times, just trying to get a little fresh air, out of my dungeon here, trying to, navigate life during COVID times, Anyway, guys, before I ramble too hard here, where the heck is Tainix, man? Where is my Hateflower girl? So you guys may or may not have remembered that I reviewed all these new daily login reward champions. Why am I not? So right in front of my face, man. My bad. I reviewed all these champions. Tainix Hateflower was my least favorite out of all three of our daily login rewards. I already did a guide on Grush the Mangler, who we get after 240 days. Sounds about right. So a two-hitter on her A1, but I've come a little bit up on how I rate Tainix Hateflower after playing her. Not a tier 1, not an S tier epic champion by any stretch, but I think she can help people, especially free-to-play players or players who are just not big spenders in the game. I think she can have a couple different roles on your teams. So Seeker Bolt, her A1, a two-hitter, automatically makes her kind of viable for Fire Knight, progression and support. Heals all allies by 3% of this champion's HP. With each hit on targets under decreased speed debuffs. On the A2, her only two active abilities, the other is passive, attacks one enemy, has a 100% chance when booked, and that's the bad thing about Tainix Hateflower, right, is that you have to put books into her. There's a lot of books required on this ability, 8 levels on the A2, which, it goes from making her free to play, because she's free to everybody who plays the game a certain amount of time, 210 days, to, not have to use a bunch of epic books on her. You have to book her up. You have to get the real value out of this champion. So you make the decision after watching this video. Do you want to invest in her? I'm gonna leave that up to you guys. So 100% chance when booked, placing the decreased speed for 2 turns. Decreased speed, 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown on an AoE, because it has the spread here, is actually a really good skill, okay? It doesn't hit that hard though, and it only actually does damage to one enemy. Not what we're looking for, really, but the decreased speed on all of the enemies is solid, right? 30% strong version of decreased speed. It has that debuff spread, 80% chance to land it on all enemies for 2 turns if the attack is critical, okay? Decreased speed, I think, is a little bit underrated in terms of debuffs. Decrease the damage all allies receive by 5%. She'll take the damage instead. And her aura is in Faction Crypts 30% ally HP. You can use her in Faction Crypts if you're endgame Demon Spawn. I will. Masteries. Talked about 2 choices. Let me kind of move myself over here for a second. You can go War Master, and she'll actually put out a really decent amount of damage, because she'll be helpful against bosses. Thinking Dragon, thinking Fire Knight. She'll put out anywhere from 400, depending on the team around her, of course, but 400,000 to 800,000 damage, kind of in that threshold against level 20 dungeons. That's what you should be expecting with War Master on this champion. Without War Master on this champion, you're going to be looking, or if you have godlike gear, 1,000,000 damage, But I don't have her in godlike gear. I have her in decent gear, okay? War Master is going to be, if you want her to do damage, put her in War Master, because she's not going to be doing damage without it, okay? Not a lot of damage, certainly. So you have a choice. You're going to go support either way. At least I would advise you guys to go support tree. Kind of want to end at, probably Spirit Haste, even though it's not that helpful, or Master Hexer for the decreased speed extension. I advise you go Lore of Steel and Evil Eye. We'll talk about artifacts in a second, but you have some options there as well. On the defensive tree, though, if you want her to, if you are not already beating level 20 dungeons in this game, I would actually consider not putting her in War Master take away the offensive tree. By the way, you might notice that I have deadly. I don't have deadly precision. Is because I actually picked the masteries after I put the artifacts on. I was able to get her above 100% crit rate, so I don't need it. I can reset if I want to, free reset. So you guys should go deadly precision though. You can go bulwark, right? It's essentially her passive again, right? So 10% damage she'll be receiving for your allies, and that will help you a lot on progression, right? 10% of the damage she'll be soaking up, but you can't get War Master, obviously, being a tier 6 mastery. So it really depends on where you are in the game. Do you need a good support champion who's going to have the decreased speed on the AoE, who's going to have the heals on the A1, and is going to have the eating up the damage for you? Do you need a good progression carry type champion? If so, go with Bulwark, because who cares if she's putting out a lot of damage? You can have your nukers on the team kind of help her out in that regard. So it's not bad. Go with Bulwark and build her out only with HP. Don't even worry. You have to have 100% crit rate to land the spread on the decreased speed, but don't worry about crit damage. Throw some crit rate gauntlets on her and then just go all out on the HP so she's healing. Speed boots, and that's what you can go. So those are the two options. It depends on what you're looking for out of this champion. If you're already beating level 20 dungeons, I would just probably go with War Master. But of course, as we always say here on Masteries, it's up to you guys. My goal with Tainix Hateflower, by the way, in my artifacts that I put on her, was to build her accuracy high enough that I could put an HP banner on her. These are the things, the little trade-offs that you think about when building any champion. I won't go into great detail, but same thing with crit rate versus crit damage gauntlets. Can you get the crit rate in other areas? Not necessarily for Tainix Hateflower, but for other champions, right? I would advise I put an HP chest on her. I put speed boots on her. I went crit rate on the gauntlets. Triple roll on HP there, by the way. Sweet. I went deep, obviously, looking for speed and accuracy. I'm looking for accuracy wherever I could find it. And I got two decent accuracy rolls here on the shield and on the helmet. So I was able to put the HP. This is probably the best artifact on her. Not probably, it is the best artifact on her. But I was able to, this only 6-star HP the banner, excuse me. What are these called again? Banner that I had on my account, so I had to go. I apologize. Trying not to go with like all legendary 6-star gear here. But anyway, I was able to put the banner on her, and that's going to help her heals out a little bit, right? Her heals actually add up pretty decently throughout the course of the match. You want to go HP, crit damage or HP is fine on the amulet, HP on the ring, and then you'll be looking pretty good. My total stats on my Tainix are 194 speed, 100% on the money with a crit rate. I said over, I lied. 220 on the accuracy, and again, 67k on the HP. It's not a huge heal, but it does add up. And that's where I have her, guys. She's not gonna die, even though she's eating up 5% of the damage. And let's go ahead and just test her out here, guys. I'm not gonna show you, just because I want this video to be 25 minutes long, but I'm not gonna show you her in, I'm not gonna show you the entire battles. I wanted to pick very free-to-play friendly-ish teams here, so it's gonna take a little bit longer. But let's just see what she does with a team like this. It's still the Drakes. We got Apothecary in the lead. We got Kale on here. We got War Maiden as well. So let's see what we get. If you have Tainix Hateflower from Daily Login Rewards, I figured you'd have still the Drakes as well, so I figured it's fair to sneak her in there as well. On Fire Knight, I'm not going to have as free-to-play because I have Stag Knight on that team as well. I think I might have a Legendary too. I forgot who. But you guys will see that in a second. So you can see decreased speed right off the bat on all enemies. Nice and easy there. This team's going to be like, slow but sure. I ran this team, a few multi-battles last night with it, and nice and easy, never died, 100% success rate. And this is just a very solid, kind of free-to-play, accessible team. And you're going to see that she's going to help. Not only is she healing on her A1, but she's also eating some of the damage up. The decreased speed, I feel like, is probably the best part of her kit right there. The decreased speed on the spread. I didn't see how much damage she did there, but it's not a lot. I'm not going to be a ton of damage on this champion. She's a support, a progression champion, and endgame faction wars is kind of how I see this champion. Let me know in the comments below if you disagree with me and you see her as more than that. Am I not seeing her true potential, or am I right that she is a maybe very I was gonna say above average? She just depends on what you need, For people who are free to play who get her, she will be an above average choice and could probably help you out in this game, I do think that Fire Knight and Dragon are probably the best fits for her, but it's not to say she's useless in other areas of the game as well. I wouldn't use her in Ice Golem, but you could really use her anywhere. So that was her A2, I believe. Yeah, doing about, 16k or so to the Dragon? That's her A1 there, 7,000 heal. Of course, 3% of her HP. Not bad, you know, we're gonna see, I'll just take you through this whole fight. It's not that long, right? And none of these champions are in like the best gear on my account or anything like that. On those AoEs, she's taking 5% obviously for every champion, so, you know, it's good that she has a lot of HP because she needs it. But you can see stacking up the, I really need a cleanser for all these poisons on this team, huh? You can see, slowly but surely making our way there. HP bar kind of fluctuates, but we have some support between Scylla Drakes, between Tainix Hateflower. Whoa, bro. When you're getting old, when you call her Tainix Hateflower. That just sounds wrong for some reason. I feel like I should be like demonetized. Tainix Hateflower. Tainix Hateflower. Either way, sorry guys, late night tonight. Been one of those days, you know what I'm saying? But when you're having the 3 on the team, I feel like you can pretty much support any team. Dragon is taking a little bit longer here than you would, you know, love, I guess. But as long as everybody stays alive, who cares about time, right? I was on a stream today, actually, with somebody, streaming Raid. And I mentioned that, right? I mentioned, like, who cares? One of my big mistakes early on this game was worrying too much about times. Who cares, man? It's all about energy efficiency, not about times. Anyway, Warmain, the star of this show, and Kale, and Tainix put out 520k, a little bit more than Scylla the Drakes. She healed for way less than Scylla the Drakes, and she had the 80k as well. I mean, of the damage. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Are you impressed with her? I'm not incredibly impressed, but the one thing that does not factor in, again, is the AoE decreased speed strong version. You know, not AoE, but, you know, the spread. So, again, average, right? She screams average, but I think she could... She feels, yeah, I did have Lysandra in this team, so I apologize, but let's see what she does. I will cut past the second wave of this, kind of come back to you guys at the Fire Night before I mispronounce anything else and make a fool of myself on my YouTube channel. But either way, you know, she's all right. She's an all right champion, but it just doesn't, you know, I think a few other YouTubers have said this. I watched a bunch of guides on her just to see what other people thought of her as well, and a few have mentioned this, but if she was damage based on HP, or if she had a little bit extra in her kit, you know, so maybe some turn meter as well or something, or maybe even if her second hit was just an AoE. Come on, Plarian, give her an AoE, you know, or make her damage based on HP. I feel like she would be much better. But right now, as it stands, she's all right. She's not an awful champion. She's certainly a great champion. Be right back, guys. All right, guys, we're at the Fire Night here, 2 minutes and 25 seconds in, and again, get the decreased speed, does land on Fire Knight, does not land on dragons, something to keep in mind, of course, does not land on clan bosses as well. But, you know, nice healage, everybody's nice and healthy, everything's looking good, the shield is down, so we're good to go here. And it's not a bad run, you know, it's, again, you could have a lure if you have her in place of Lysandra, or anybody with turn meter to help you out there. That's why I have her on the team. Or 2 Cold Hearts if you're lucky enough to have those, right? So 252 this time she put out, again, 460 on the money in terms of overall damage output. Not too bad, I guess, right? And keep in mind, she's doing most of that damage off of War Master. So curing HP... it is legendary. We'll keep it. We'll keep it. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Let me know what you think of this champion. Do you find any other use cases for her that I didn't go over in this video? Another area of the game that you might be using this champion once you get her on the daily login rewards? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. I appreciate you guys. Have a good day. And as always, take care, guys.